My cousin can crack.
I had certain cousins, you know what I'm saying, we ain't never fight. And I got other cousins, it's like, woo, as soon as I see you, yeah, let's do it. Throw them things.
Throw them things.
We just stay fight. Like, every time I see you, boy, we always
That's
fight.
what we doing. We slap boxing, we doing something.
Yeah.
Something aggressive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got other cousins, it's like, you know what I'm saying, we ain't never even thought about it. You know what I'm saying, I think it's weird.
Oh, little man coming over? Oh, yeah, it's going to be on.
Yeah. Yeah, my
Some cousins
cousin.
I ain't never fight, but it was just always cool. Like, okay, cool, that's the cool one. Okay, we going to play
My
the game.
cousin Daniel and Tico used to fight all the time. And Tico used to beat him up too.
All right, let's get started. Boy, y'all turned off all the games and everything downstairs? Go turn them off. No, turn them off. Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together and hear and learn of the word of truth as given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. All right? Let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's get to Revelation chapter 18. We're going to continue because we talked about it a little bit at the end last week. We talked about one of the prerequisites, the 3 prerequisites that is necessary to understand. And it's probably more than that, but 3 that I'm going to call out that's necessary to understand in the book when it comes to Revelation. One is you have to understand the basics, right? You have to understand the principles. Right? You can find the principles. It's called the milk of the word, right? You can find the principles described just a little bit in Hebrews chapter 6, verse 1 through about 3. So you got to understand that. Then one of the other things you have to understand is you have to understand Satan. You got to understand who Satan is, where he come from. You can't believe the myths about Satan. I need y'all to be quiet. Tell your brother to be quiet too. You can't understand you can't believe the myths about Satan. If you believe those myths, then you'll never understand where Revelation has come from. You'll be deceived. But then a very important and key factor is you gotta understand who the people are. You know what I mean? Hey, I need y'all to be quiet. So you have to understand who the people are, right? Who are the Israelites? Who are they today?
Azariah.
Who were they yesterday?
Bring your sister up here.
Right? If you don't know that, and that's not something that you can articulate, it's not something that you can identify, then you are hugely mistaken. Because there's a very specific people that's being talked about, and those people are the center, right? Are the center of the events in Revelations. I know y'all hate to hear it, but that's going to be the black folks, right? Not all black folks, but the black folks that seem to be hated no matter where they go. Right? Mainly black people in America, right? That came from the transatlantic slave trade. The black people in Brazil that came from the transatlantic slave trade. The black people in Haiti. The black people in Cuba. The black people in Puerto Rico. The black people everywhere. There are black people in England that came from the slave trade. There are black people all over the world that came from the slave trade. And those individuals are at the center of what we're talking about in Revelations. You'll never, I say that to you, and you might think that's crazy. Right? That don't make no sense. But I'm going to show it to you. We're going to talk about it today. Because the Bible talks about a place, Babylon. And we try to figure out, one, where is Babylon? Is Babylon America? Well, no, Babylon was actually originally in the Middle East, so Babylon is Arabia. Is Babylon Europe? Is Babylon the Vatican? Right, Vatican City? Right, where is Babylon? What is Babylon? What does it represent? We're going to talk a little bit about Babylon. We're going to see what Babylon is. We're going to see how all of this plays out. But again, to understand, you have to understand those three things. Who are the Hebrews? The story of Satan, the truth about Satan, and the basics, right? The absolute basics, the milk of the word. All that you'll be able to find on our page. We've already covered all those topics. I hope you get a chance to look through them and understand them deeply. And then from there, come back and watch this video. But go ahead and stop it before you know what I'm saying, before you can get too far. Go ahead, stop it, watch the whole video, come back to it when you're ready. It don't make no sense to get your butt too far deep into this and you don't even understand what you're doing. So let's go to Revelation. It's Revelation chapter 18. We're going to do verse 1. Let's read about Babylon. Let's see what the book says. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 1.
And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power. And the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen.
He said, Babylon the great has fallen. Watch this.
Is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils.
Oh, man.
In the hold of every foul spirit.
Oh, man.
In the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Okay.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath for her fornication.
How many nations?
All nations.
So all nations have drunk of what?
The wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So now all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornications. We got to break that down. Fornications, what's that?
Having sex outside of marriage.
That's unclean sex, right? Unauthorized sex, right? So that means she's fraternizing with other nations, right? She's being unfaithful with other nations. That's what fornication is, being unfaithful, right? So she's being unfaithful with other nations, this Babylon. She's making deals, exposing herself, giving herself away, taking of them, right? With all nations, right? That means she cutting deal behind other nations' back. She being unfaithful. Let's see.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Okay. Keep going.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
So now they ended up being waxed rich with the abundance of her delicacies. Right? So that means they're doing all right. Everybody relying on Babylon. Let's see.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins.
Now that is the key. Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins. If you ask a Christian, who is this talking about? You know what they'll say? The Christians. You ask a Muslim, who is this talking about? You know what they'll say? The Muslims. You ask a Hebrew Israelite who they're talking about? They're going to say the Hebrews. Right? Those who keep the law, statute, you know, the Hebrew, like law, statute, and commandment. You know what I'm talking about? They're going to tell you, it's the ones that keep the law, statute, and commandment. That's what it's talking about. Right? Seventh-day Adventists going to say it's talking about the seventh-day darn Adventists. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's just going to say it's talking about them. Who can prove it out in the book is the question. Right? What we're about to do is we're about to prove this out in the book who it's talking about. He said, come out of her, my people. Understand that this is Babylon. Babylon has been marked. And then after Babylon is being marked, and before Babylon actually faces the wrath of the Most High God, the people are told to come out. A specific people, and he calls those people my people. What we got now? Find what I'm looking for in Hosea real quick. I'm trying to teach the Bible that you can't come over here. I got work to do. Okay, not daddy, baby. Not daddy, baby. Not daddy, baby. Find what I'm looking for in Hosea. I think it's Hosea chapter 2. I want to say about the end, probably the last verse in there, about 13. So we probably want like verse 8, verse 9. Give me a kiss. I'm daddy, baby.
Grown man. You said chapter 2?
Yeah. Let's see what chapter 2, maybe verse 8. You think that's what I'm looking for?
For she did not know that I gave her corn, wine, and oil.
Maybe 9.
I will return and take away my corn. What are you looking for when he said, in the place where I said they are not my people, there they will be called?
Yeah.
Let's see.
13.
There, hold on now. You probably looking for the end of this chapter.
What's the last verse?
No, so her, it shall hear, it shall come to pass.
What number is it?
So the Lord, around the 20s, but we might have to go before that. So we will start at.
Don't go over there touching nothing, baby girl.
You want to do. I will lure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably to her.
Hey, Yala, come here.
Egypt, and it shall be that,
Go down, come down.
that you shall call me Ishai, and I shall call you Baali. I think it might not be chapter 2. You sure it's chapter 2?
Pretty sure. It might not be, but I'm pretty sure it's chapter 2. What's the last verse? Should be at the end.
And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy, and I will say to them which are not my people, you are my people.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So this is what verse I want to start at?
We will start
Last verse?
Hold on. We'll start at 11.
So this is Hosea chapter 2.
10.
You want to start at 10?
Yeah.
I want to start at 10?
I mean.
No, I don't want that much. I just want.
Okay.
I just want what I'm looking for.
We'll do 13.
13?
Okay.
You sure?
I mean.
Give me the last verse. What's the last verse? This is what number is the last verse?
23.
23. So this is Hosea chapter 2, verse 23.
We're gonna do 18.
18?
Yeah, we'll do 18 and just read on down.
This is Hosea chapter 2, verse 18.
And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of the heaven, with the creeping things of the ground. Mm-hmm. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. Mm-hmm. And I will betroth you unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth you unto me in righteousness, and in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercies. Mm-hmm. I will even betroth you unto me in faithfulness, and you shall know Yahuwah. And it shall come to pass in that day I will hear, says the Lord, and I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. Mm-hmm. The earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. Mm-hmm. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say unto them which are not my people, you are my people, and they shall say, you are my God.
Right? So this is a prophecy that Hosea gave to who?
He gave to the people, the Israelites.
He gave to the Israelites. He told the Israelites first, before this, that y'all gonna be cast away and y'all not gonna be my people. Y'all were my people, y'all not gonna be my people. Then he came in the second chapter and he said, it's gonna come a day though, that I'm gonna bring y'all back together. And I'm gonna line everything up. And I'm gonna make a covenant even with the beasts of the field where they won't eat y'all. Everything, because, oh man, it's too much to get into. Right? He said, I'm going to make a covenant with the beasts of the field, because when the Gentiles came, after we got cast away, right? After our fathers got cast away, the Gentiles came into the land, and what happened to them? Gentiles got cast out?
Gentiles came and they started.
What they doing, the Gentiles?
They started. Who was doing the Gentiles?
What was the Gentiles doing? And what happened to the Gentiles?
They was worshiping their own gods in the land.
Right.
And then what happened as a result?
God sent the beast to eat them.
The beasts of the field got their butt, didn't they? So the Most High God said, when I bring y'all back, I'm going to make a covenant with the beasts of the field where they won't get your butt. Right? And he said, in that same place that I said, you are not my people.
There
I'm going to say you are my people. We know where he said that where we were when he said that we were not his people, Israel. Yep. So in that same place, he said he's going to say they are the people, right? My people is the word that he uses. Then if we go back to Revelation chapter 18, where we leave off.
4.
Guess what he said to these? Read it.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Come out of her what?
My people.
My people. Now we can pretend like maybe he talking to just random Christians and Muslims. That's not what the man said. The man said it's going to come a day that the people I said were not my people, my people. And he said that specifically to the Israelites. It's important for us to know that. This is not about just everybody. Well, no, because see, what you don't understand, brother, is he opened it up to all the Christians. I'm not saying he didn't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he didn't. Every Christian has a chance to obey the word of the Most High God. Every Muslim has every devil worshiper, Satanist, Luciferian idiot. I ain't gonna call yourself a darn Lucifer. Don't even know who Lucifer darn is. You know that Luciferian. Yo, I don't even take you serious. You don't even serve the devil right. You know how you don't serve the devil right. Call him Lucifer. He ought to smack you in your mouth. Call his name Lucifer. He ain't never gave you that darn name. I don't know what these people's problem is. All right, but you look at it. And anybody, no matter who you are, you got a chance to obey God. As long as you breathing, you ought to take it that way at least. As long as you breathing, you ought to assume that you got a chance to obey the Most High God. Right? So far be it from me, Christian, to tell you, you know what I'm saying, he ain't opened up to you. Yeah, he opened up to your butt. You got to line up with it, though. Ain't no other way to get in. That's the basics. There, you got to line your butt up and get in there. Right? Let me tell you where the Christians and the Gentiles fit in. We read this before, but let's read it again. It's Romans chapter 11. It's Romans chapter 11. Give me verse 11. We don't have to read the whole thing. Because right here, this is where Paul's trying to tell us that, man, like some of my brethren, talking about the Israelites. He's like, man, some of my brethren, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and start at the beginning because I want y'all to, we'll jump on down, but let's start at the beginning. This is Romans chapter 11, verse 1. Because I just need everybody to understand the context of what's happening. No way for you to understand what's happening right now in Revelations unless you understand who the people are. Go back, rewind, go watch the video. We did a whole video of the Jews in Africa. That'll help you understand it. That'll connect some dots for you. Then come back and watch this afterwards.
I say then, has God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God has not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What ye not, what the scripture says of Elijah, how he makes intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed your prophets and digged down your altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life.
Jump on down to verse 11 now. So he said, has God cast away his people? He's talking about the Israelites. He makes it clear. He's like, nah, he didn't. Stop playing with that for me, Eli, or play with it back there. Right? He said, nah, he didn't cast them away. Right? At least not the ones that he foreknew. Right? Not the ones that are chosen. Not the ones that have made themselves and set themselves apart as particular. Sure, it might be a lot of them that he cast away, but not the ones that was chosen, he's saying. He said not the ones he foreknew. Jump on down verse 11. Watch this.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Talking about the Israelites. Have the Israelites stumbled so that they should fall? Is the purpose of their stumble for the Israelites to fall? That's what he's saying. He's asking that question. Do you think the Israelites got into all this trouble and stumbled for the purpose that they should fall? In other words, for the purpose that they don't have a chance? Let's hear about it.
God forbid.
He said, God forbid. May God never let that happen is what he's saying. Right? Watch this.
But rather, through their fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles.
He said the way that it got opened up to the Christians and the Muslims and all these heathens, the only way it got opened up to them is through our stumble. There's no other way these other folks get in. And the grafted branch boasts itself against the natural branch. Goodness gracious. Right? That's what we have to understand. This is all a part of a plan. We stumble. We stumble because we sinned. We stumble because we rebelled against God as a people. Right? But even in that, the Most High God used that to say, okay, Gentiles, you come in. God could have corrected that situation immediately. Right? But he didn't. He said, let me use this to bring the Gentiles in. Opened it up for the Gentiles. Watch what Paul say.
For their fall, salvation is coming to the Gentiles to provoke them to jealousy. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them be the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
So pay attention to what he's saying. If the fall of them be the riches of the world and the riches of the Gentiles, right? What happened when Israelites fell? Rome came and took us out of Israel. Where'd we go?
Africa.
Some of us went to Africa. Where else we go?
Europe, everywhere.
Different Europe, Arabia. What were we doing in all those places?
Hiding.
Hiding in Africa. What were we doing in Europe and Arabia?
Slave.
Servants, bottom feeders, slaves in some cases, right? The Arabians really made us slaves, right? The Muslims made us slaves when the Islam stuff got popping. That's when they started the slave trade. So they started making money off of us. Everywhere we went, guess what they're doing, except for Africa? Well, even in Africa, but to a lesser degree in Africa. They're making money off our butt, right? At that point, Gentiles began to solidify that they ran the world. It became their world. We enriched the rest of the world. Even today, we're here. What do you think happened if like all black people just got up and walked out of here? Just walked on down to Mexico. What do you think happened?
This country would be done.
I mean, because the economy of this country, where it come from? I mean, was it just like white folks just being great engineers and coming up with their own stuff?
Slave labor.
Slave labor. How'd that work out? Because do it work out like all the top banks is still around? Like I don't know, did they have like insurance policies and where did the stock market even come from?
Slave.
You mean to tell me they would place bonds on slaves? And that is what developed into what we know now as the stock market? You mean to tell me that these folks would insure wagons carrying slaves, and that's how you end up getting the wagon on the front of Wells Fargo? Now that's just absurd. But at the same time, that's what Paul prophesied. This didn't happen in Paul's time. Paul told you though, oh man, if you think the fall, it's gonna be the riches of the world. What do you think gonna happen when they fool? Let's see what's gonna happen when they fool. Keep reading, Paul. Keep talking, Paul.
For I speak to you Gentiles, and as much as I am an apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my
Be careful
office.
with my daughter right there.
If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, it might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world.
If Israelites getting cast out causes the world to have an opportunity to be reconciled to the Most High God, then what?
What shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead?
If they come back, it's going to end up being life from the dead. Remember that, because that's what we're looking for. He said the receiving of them. What does that mean? Receiving of them. We know what it means when they were cast out. That means they ended up leaving Israel. So then when they're received, what that mean?
Life from the dead.
They are coming back to Israel. Give me Jeremiah chapter 50. Let's talk. Let's talk. We looking at Revelation chapter 18. We're going to get back to it. Looking at Revelation chapter 18, you think they're just talking to a Christian. You think they're talking to a Muslim. You think they're just talking to random people. You know what they think they're talking to? No, brother, I'm not religious, see. I'm spiritual. What does that mean? You know what that means?
Maybe I do what I want to do.
I ain't contained by no book written by man. I just know that God exists, the universe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. God might be a girl or a boy. You know what I'm saying? You know these people, these dogs. I be looking like, man, I don't know what's wrong. Y'all better shut y'all darn mouth. Goodness gracious. Let's open up. This is Jeremiah chapter 50. I want verse 1. Let's see. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1. Watch the book say.
The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and
Against who?
Babylon.
The word that so we just read Revelation chapter 18. It's talking about who?
Babylon.
Okay. So now it's Jeremiah chapter 50 and it's talking about who?
Babylon.
All right, let's hear about it.
The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet.
Uh-huh.
Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north there comes up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate.
That's very important.
And none shall dwell therein.
Out of the north, man, it's going to come a nation, and that's going to make her land desolate, man. Ain't nobody going to dwell therein. Watch this.
They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days and in that time, says the Lord, the children of Israel shall come.
The children of Israel shall come. What's going to happen with the children of Israel?
They and the children of Judah together going and weeping.
They and the children of Judah together are going to go and weep. And where are they going, Lord?
They shall go and seek Yahuwah their God.
They going to look for Yahuwah. And what they going to say?
They shall ask the way to Zion.
How do I get to Zion? They going to be looking around. How do I get home? Now, people are reading this. Listen, it's some smart people, too. You know a Christian was looking at that, and he's like, he thinks that's talking about Babylon in Revelation 18. It's not. It says the land of the Chaldeans. He's talking about all the gods, Baal and all that. Those are gods of the ancient Chaldeans. This is not talking about Babylon the Great that's read in Revelation 18. All right, let's go with that. Tell me when that happened then. Because Babylon of old, this prophecy, if we taking what you're saying, this prophecy already happened. Tell me when Judah and Israel together came saying, yo, how I get to Zion? Show me it. Listen, when I talk about the book, guess what I'm gonna show you? I'm gonna show you right where it happened. If we talk about something that happened in the book, I'm not telling you, I'm not speculating, I'm not telling, no, see, it's not written, but you have to know if you read this ancient document from the Mesopotamian, you're not gonna hear none of that from me. You know what I'm gonna tell you? That's where it happened right there. That's where it happened right there. Book say it. Show it to me. You can't show it because it never happened. You don't understand prophecy and you don't understand how to open up this book and put it together, you'll be confused. Remember, the prophets were confused.
Yeah. They're trying to figure out how this thing gonna work.
Let me tell you who ain't that confused. A little confused. You know what I'm saying? A little confused. You know what I'm saying? I ain't that confused though. I know what the book talking about. Watch this. Poquito confused. You know what I'm saying? The Mexicans would say. Poquito confused. You know what I'm talking about? Watch this.
They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come, and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people has been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray, and they have turned them away on the mountains.
That's right.
They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them.
All that found them have devoured them.
And their adversary said, we offend not because they have sinned against Yahuwah.
Look at this. Their adversary said, we don't offend because these people sinned against Yahuwah. You know what the Muslims used to say to justify them enslaving us? They said that we were the children of the Hamites. And if you look in the Bible, the Hamites were cursed. Right? Is that even true?
No.
Who got cursed? Canaan got cursed. Right?
He was just gonna be a servant though.
Canaan got cursed. Not the Hamites, but these the lies that they tell. Right? All right, let's keep going. What else? He said they don't hold themselves as
We
offended.
offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord. The habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. We move out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans.
Look what he said. Remove out of the midst of Babylon. Go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans. Watch this. Keep going.
Be as the he-goats before the flocks.
Uh-huh.
For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From there she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain.
Right? So they said, this is what the book said. Babylon going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of nations, and they going to take her butt. Let me tell you something. Them arrows going to be worked by experts. None of them things going to return in vain. All it going to make a little bit more sense in a little bit. This is Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. Jump on down to verse 10. We ain't got to get the whole thing. And you want to come to me? You don't see I'm trying to work? You don't see Daddy trying to work?
You looking at?
It's Isaiah chapter 11. Give me verse 10. You don't see
And
that?
in that day there shall be a root of Jesse which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
Hold on. Yahuwah shall set his hand. What time?
The second time.
So when was the first time?
When Yahushua came.
Let's read it again.
And in that day shall be a root of Jesse which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
So he said he's going to recover the remnant of his people a second time. When was the first time?
With Persia?
When was the first time?
When Persia came back with Judah.
When Persia came back?
When we came back from Persia.
Nope.
All right. So I guess that wouldn't count because Israel didn't come with us. When Yahushua came?
When did the Most High God set his hand?
Oh, Egypt, of course.
Egypt. Right?
Yeah, of
The
course.
reason why Persia don't count, because he didn't get them with no plagues.
Yeah.
Remember, when the Most High, when they say set his hand, you know what I'm saying? Christian take that. God stretch out his hand. You know, Christian take that. Oh, he's trying to hug me. No. When the book say the Most High God put his hand out, what that mean?
Plagues.
That's plagues.
Somebody about to die.
You getting your darn butt smacked. These people don't know no darn book and be out here trying to teach it.
It will come to pass where they no longer will say,
Listen to what the book say.
like the Lord brought.
No, read it. Watch this. We gonna get it.
That's in this chapter?
Nope.
Oh.
We gonna get it though. Watch this.
Ooh, okay. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and Shinar. And
Look at all these nations he named.
from the islands
From
of the
this
sea.
nation and this nation and this nation. Oh, and from the islands of the sea. I don't know what he talking about when he say the islands of the sea.
And he shall set up an
You gotta cross the sea to get to these people. They coming from every darn where. Talking about some darn Christians. God ain't thinking about no Christian unless they obey the Most High God. Anybody can get in. That's what you ought to think. You can breathe. That ought to be your mindset that anybody can get in, you breathing. Guess what? You gotta line up with the book. And I ain't talking about no law, statute, commandment, because the law, statute, commandment gonna tell you to listen to the Messiah. Obey Yahushua. And if you don't think there's a difference there, that's fine by me. As long as you obey him, I don't care. Listen, I'm not telling you to break no law. You keep the darn law. That's fine. Just make sure you obey Yahushua. That's the only thing I care about. And we keep the law too. Let me tell you one thing. We don't hypocrite about it. We ain't about to keep the law and then break what Yahushua saying. Hey, out here cussing and lying and stealing. You know what I'm saying? You got these Hebrews who are like, going darn steal and make their way and then build their own city and around these. Don't get me started on these people, man. Don't get me started on these people. Keep going. We got this is Isaiah chapter 11. What verse we on?
12.
This is verse 12. Watch this.
He shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
And from everywhere. Watch this.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together. And they shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. And with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams.
And what's going to happen?
And make men go over dry shod.
Listen, I don't know what y'all thinking about. I don't know what y'all think is happening right now. The man is telling you what's happening. He said for a second time. He said this happened before. But for a second time, I'm going to bring my people. Not just from Egypt. From everywhere. Even the islands. The folks coming back. But then we going to get to Egypt. And then when we get to Egypt, guess what's going to happen? Most High God gonna look at the river. Read it again. Because people will think I'm making it up if I get to talking too much. I just want y'all to read it.
And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. And with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river.
He said he gonna do what?
With his mighty...
No, before that.
And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea.
He's going to destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. One. Next, with his mighty hand,
with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod.
After that, the man is going to smite the river and make men go over there dry. Their feet going to be dry walking across a river because he smote it and turned it into seven streams. That means maybe it got split. I've heard about this somewhere before. I have no idea where, but I heard about this somewhere before. Maybe that's what he means when he says second time. Let's see.
And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
Just like Egypt. And y'all think he's just talking about any random Christian. Don't get me wrong. Y'all Christians can get in too. It's just important that you understand who the focus is. Right? Everybody can get in. The Muslims, all y'all can get in. As soon as y'all obey, submit yourself to the way of the Messiah, everybody can walk with us. Y'all can be right here with us when the seat gets split. Listen, be clear about what I'm saying. I'm not saying nobody else getting in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, y'all not the focus. And you'll do well to know that. Like, y'all the plus one. Understand that and walk in it. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't worry, we're going to show you that y'all the plus one. Right? Don't be ashamed of that. Walk in it. But just understand who the focus is, because if you know who the focus is, you know what group of people to watch to understand when things are moving. You out here looking at these Israelis. They got them people messed up over there, boy. They like a darn petri dish for the COVID test.
Ain't they like just shooting them over?
Oh, they shoot their butt up. It seems like every other week they come out with a new shot for the Israelis, bro. And they still dropping dead like ain't nobody more vaccinated than them. Crazy, right? Dropping dead like I'm trying to figure out why y'all mandating that thing here. I can't stand these people. They voted for Biden. Biden gonna pop out now. We gonna mandate it. I think you're doing the same thing your CCSD doing though. You know, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing. Just make a mess. They hope, they hope it buy some time. They gonna do that. And, hope that some people just get it, expecting it to happen. You know what I'm saying? They gonna take forever to actually make some,
A lot of people I talk to at work, but like, I just went in ahead and got it because they gonna make us do it anyway.
Yep.
And a lot of people that I've been talking to, they feel like they sold out. Like, so I don't really like, I haven't heard nobody say, yeah, I got it, and I, feel proud about it. Like, all of them kind of feel bad about that thing.
Yeah, they out of line.
And I don't make them feel bad either. It just be regular conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What verse we on?
That was the end of 11.
Grab Revelation chapter 18.
There's going to come a time where every man's going to grab hold of a skirt of a Jew and say, we heard that God is with you.
That book.
Them boys don't know nothing about that, though.
That book.
They going to be like, take me with you, please.
You know what I'm saying? The book says the Gentiles going to carry you over there on swift beasts.
Them boys going to be like, take me with you, please.
Don't worry, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all that.
Revelation what?
18, pick up where we left off. What verse we leave off?
Verse 4.
It's Revelation chapter 18, verse 4.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to the works, to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she says in her heart, I sit a queen and no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
So you see how the book's saying, reward her as she rewarded you. Give her back what she been giving you, right? That's talking to, you remember we read in Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50 said, man, all the nations going to surround her. They going to be shooting them arrow, boy, them some expert arrow. Ain't none of them going to return in vain. That means every time he shoot one, that thing hit what it was supposed to hit. You know what I'm saying? That thing hit, every time that thing shot, hey, it hit what it, so whatever getting shot, whew, going to be some marksmen doing that thing, right? That's what Jeremiah said. We read in Revelations, people don't, it's not talking about the same thing. Okay, we read in Revelations, and it tell you, all right, don't take part in her plagues. Revelation talking about plagues. Jeremiah talking about a war. Okay, keep reading. But return to her what she gave you. What you think that's talking about? If you say that, if it just says she fornicated with all the nations, she took advantage of all the nations, and she been made rich, and they felt like they was rich, but she stole from them. Set them up, made them think like they were doing, then all of a sudden it all stopped. Whole time she been stealing from them. Oh no, you return what she did. Take it all back. All right, keep going, watch this.
I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day.
Therefore shall her plagues gonna all come in one day.
Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
In 1 hour, thy judgment is come. What verse is that?
10.
Grab Deuteronomy chapter 26. It's Deuteronomy chapter 26. We ain't got to get it all. Let's just jump on down to verse 7. Deuteronomy chapter 26, jump on down to verse 7. Let's see what the book says. Come out of her, my people. Is Babylon America? Is Babylon in the Middle East? Is Babylon this? Is Babylon that? We should be getting the picture so far, but let's keep going.
And when we cried unto the Lord God of our fathers, the Lord heard our voice and looked on our affliction and our labor and our oppression. And the Lord brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm, and with his great terribleness and with signs and wonders. And he had brought us into this place and has given us this land, even the land that flows with milk and honey. And now behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land which thou, O Lord, hast given me.
Right? So that's what happened the first time. Isaiah told us what's going to happen the second time. Let's read what Ezekiel got to tell us. This is Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 32.
Surely I will rule over you.
He said her plagues will come to her in one day. We just read Deuteronomy that told us, man, the Most High God put plagues on this people, and that's how we got up out of here. We remember when we was in Egypt, the plagues is what got us out of there. He said, I'm going to bring my people a second time. First time being Egypt. And said he going to do it just like Egypt. Let's see what Ezekiel got to say then. Somehow we got to put all this stuff together. Let's see who the plagues fall on. Whoever the plagues fall on, that's going to tell. Whoever the plagues fall on in an effort to get the Israelites out, that tells us who Babylon is. Okay? Plague fell on Egypt, and we got out of Egypt. Right? We just said that Babylon going to have her plagues in relation to come out of her, my people. So now, let's see if Ezekiel can make it a little bit more clear who going to get these plagues. This is Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 32.
And that which comes into your mind shall not be at all, that you say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries to serve wood and stone. As I live, says the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, I will rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people. And
He said, I will bring you out from the people. Where?
And will gather you out of the countries where you have scattered.
All the countries that you have scattered.
Where you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
And I will go to the wilderness.
And there will I plead with you face to face.
So with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm and with fury poured out, those are plagues. Those plagues are going to all the countries that I'm carrying you out of. Isaiah already kind of described, man, they're going to come from Egypt and Patmos and Cush and all these different places. Even the isles of the sea. They coming from darn everywhere. Guess where these plagues landed? Every darn where. Guess what Babylon is? Everywhere. Everywhere. Babylon is not one individual place. Babylon is a system that's taking from all different places. That's how Babylon is able, right, to deal with all the different kings and fornicate with all these different places. It's a system that has been meant to oppress us no matter where we go. All right, let's see. We can try to identify, we can theorize. I'm not into all that about what the system is. You can say it's the World Bank system. You can say it's this. You can say it's that. I'm not wasting my time with all that. Right? Only thing I'm worried about, what does the book say? That's it. I'm not here to predict what's going to happen, who going to do it. Should you invest in Bitcoin or not? Should you build a bunker underneath your house and store water? You know what I'm saying? Should you get the chip or the vaccine? I'm not into all that stuff. All I'm getting into is what does the book say? That way, if you know what the book say, when it happened, if you trust God, you're going to be like, oh, that was it there. I'll tell you, we'll get to the mark of the beast. We'll get to it. Let's keep going. This is Ezekiel chapter 20, verse what? 34? 35? 36. This is Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 36. What does the book say?
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
Just like I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness in the land of Egypt. When does this happen? It's only talking about one people. It ain't happened yet. Keep going. Watch this.
So will I plead with you, says the Lord God.
He said, just like I plead with your fathers in the wilderness, the same way I'll plead with you. So let's take the events of Egypt. Egypt, we in Egypt, we slaves, we oppressed. We come out by plagues. Plague after plague after plague after plague after plague. Eventually, King of Egypt say, Pharaoh, he say, let them go. Right? Just let they butt go. It killed my darn baby. Just let them go. Right? So then, we go. He chased after us, right? He gets drowned inside of the Red Sea, what we call a Red Sea now, right? We walk over dry. Now, if we read this, he said it's going to be plagues on Babylon, plagues on all the countries. He going to come with an outstretched arm. He going to bring us over. Isaiah said we going to make it to Egypt, and he going to hit Egypt in the river of Egypt in such a way that it's going to split into 7 streams, and we going to walk over it dry, right? After we walked over dry, we went into the wilderness when it was Egypt. So now all of a sudden he said, just like Egypt, I'm going to plead with you in the wilderness. We have to understand that this is a direct parallel to what we're looking at in Egypt. That's why when you're talking about Revelation, when you're talking about the end, you got to know Scripture. Because if you don't know Scripture, you don't know how this is going to play. You already know how it's going to play out when you know Scripture. All you got to do is wait and see how it look. What's going to happen, you know. How does it look? It's the only thing we don't know. Okay, keep going. Watch this.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me.
That's going to be the key. You have to know that. There's going to be a lot of people that come with us. There's going to be a lot of Israelites, man. It's going to be a lot of them. We all just going to be going moseying along. We all going to be thinking we on the same page. We going to make it all the way through. We going to be seeing miracles. We going to see all types of plagues happening. Ain't nothing going to touch us either. We just going to walk out clean too. Everybody else going to be suffering. These Gentiles going to be seeing us walk out clean, and they going to see us. They going to be suffering with plagues. And they're going to be like, man, if I just grab onto you, if I just go with you, because clearly, y'all, people don't believe we the people of God. They don't believe it. God gonna make them believers. And when they see it, they gonna say, this is how I get out of this? Oh, man, just let me attach myself to you. I do whatever it takes. I pay for the ticket. I fund the trip. Whatever it takes, just take me with you out of this place. Get me out of this mess that's happening. A lot of people wonder, how are we going to get there? Listen, if you know the book, you know already. These people going to take us there. You know why they going to take us there? Because they facing plague after plague after plague after plague. And it's going to be a lot of us going. It's going to be a lot just based off of the fact that you are an Israelite, a descendant of the Israelite. Guess what? Going to be prophets that come and round us all up from different places. And they're going to bring us all together, and we going to walk. Somehow we going to get to wherever we getting, right? Gentiles going to get us as far as we need to go. They're going to attach themselves to us. We going to walk. We going to see the miracles while we on our way there. We going to split the sea. We going to go across. And then guess what? Most High God going to deal with us at that point. He going to say, okay, now that we made it all this far, you, and you die right here in the wilderness. If you know the book, you've seen it already. In Egypt, Most High God spoke to how many Israelites? A few of them or all of them?
He spoke to all of them.
He spoke to all the Israelites. He said, after that, follow me. They followed him out into the wilderness. How many of those Israelites that he spoke to made it into the promised land?
None from that was 20 and older.
2.
Yeah, only 2. That's right.
There were 2 of the adults that he spoke to that made it. Everybody else died. And let me tell you how cold the book is. Before it tell you that everybody else died, he made us read the count. Man broke down and said, now count every one of them. Because he wants us to understand. Y'all don't understand how cold God is, bro.
Upward, bro.
You don't understand how cold the man is.
Hundreds of thousands of people in their tribe.
Look, and a lot of people read that part of the book and be like, man, this part, you just got to keep reading. I be skipping past that part. You don't understand what the man trying to show you. Man trying to show you, look.
30,582 out of the tribe of Reuben.
Look, he rubbing our face in it. Let me show you something. Let me show you how many of these Look, it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Keep counting. And of the tribe of Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? And that thing just count them all out. And them, and there. Just so he can tell you. Look, he could have easily said, now all of them died. No, hey, don't cut it.
It was probably like over 500,000 people.
I need you to know the number of these men. Because you got to appreciate that those are the ones that never got to see it. And likewise, We're going to walk out there strong, a lot of us. There's going to be a lot of us that never get to see it. That's why I say it's important to know the basics. Because you're not going to be saved just because you're an Israelite. I know you riding on that. I know you the people of God. I know. Read it for me one more time. He said, after we get into, do you understand? This is after we done made it. We done been through all this stuff. Plagues hit the whole world. He just split the sea for us. We walk out, we think we clean out here. And then he said after that, what happened? Baby girl, you got to be careful.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me.
Right? Listen, the sinners, they got to go. Listen, I don't care who you are, what you think of yourself or think of God. If you are a sinner, you are going to get purged. That's why the prerequisite to any of this is you got to know how to obey. You got to know the basics. If you don't know that, it don't make no sense. You can predict, oh, but let me tell you, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a man named King George the 18th. He's going to come out of Greece, and he's going to dominate and take over a new world order and control the World Bank, and he's going to set up Bitcoin. And if you don't have Bitcoin, you won't be able to buy or sell. And then you got to get the vaccine, and that's going to be the first plague. You can predict all of it to a T. Let's say you dead right about all your craziness, right? Guess what? Your sinning butt still going to go to hell. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Your butt predicted to a T. We looking at you like, man, Lord must be moving on that boy. That boy knocked out, must be a prophet of the Most High God. We ain't give you the praise. We gonna look at the man. Man, whoa, that man got it there. He predicted it down to a T. He told me not to do that. He told me not to do that. And he was right about all of it. That is a prophet of the Most High God. Guess what? He's still sinning. Guess what's going to happen to him? Your butt get purged just like everybody else who's sinning. Being a prophet of God will not save you. That's blasphemous to some people. So just in case they don't believe me, grab Matthew chapter 7. There's no cheat codes. There's no roundabouts. There's one way. You got to come through the door. You can't climb in the window. You can't knock on the back door and have somebody open it for you. You ain't taking no ladder and climbing through the darn attic. Only way to get in is through the front door. That's it. And your butt better not. Hit Matthew chapter 7. Give me verse 21. I think it's verse 21. Yeah. Verse 19?
21.
It's verse 21. What does the book say?
Not everyone that says unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven.
You got to be doing the will of the Father. That's obedience. Keep going. Watch this.
Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? And in your name have cast out devils? And in your name done many wonderful works?
So you as a prophet of God, you cast out devils in the name of God, and you did many wonderful works. That means that you did miracles in the name of God, in the name of Yahushua, right? Legit. He didn't say you pretended like you did these things. He said, these people said they did it. And guess what happened?
And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
And you want to know what's going to happen in that wilderness when you talk about purged? He's going to tell you, get away. We're going to be in the wilderness, y'all. How do we get to the wilderness? Grab Revelation chapter 11. This is Revelation chapter 11. Give me verse 1. Let's turn quick. We got a lot of ground to cover still. Revelation chapter 11, verse 1.
And there was given me a reed like unto a rod. And the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God.
Measure the temple of God.
And the altar, and them that worship therein.
It's a vision given in Revelation. Look, he said, measure the temple of God.
But the court which is outside the temple, leave out, and measure it not, for it is given.
Why not?
For it is given to the Gentiles.
What they gonna do with it?
And on the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months.
Oh, so they got a specific time that they're going to tread this thing over foot. Let's see.
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses.
I will give power unto my 2 witnesses. Pay attention to that. Let's talk about it. Keep going.
And they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth.
All right, now we got to get Zechariah. This is Zechariah chapter 4. Give me verse 1. Let's go, let's go. You got a lot to cover. It's Zechariah chapter 4, verse 1. All right, we got to understand. Listen, based off of what we looked at, we know what Babylon is. Babylon, the whole shebang, right? Based off of what we looked at, we know what the object is. We the object, right? His people. Israelites, specifically. All right, we'll talk about how the Gentiles fit in. All right? Let me just stick around, Gentiles. Don't turn off the camera yet. You know what I'm talking about? Stick around. I got something for y'all too. All right? But first we got to understand, how did this all start? What's the beginning point? The beginning point is us still in captivity. And one day the Most High God going to say, all right, time to get y'all out. And when that happens, plagues hit Babylon, we leave. And that is the starting point for all of this. But before we understand that part, we got to understand who helps us leave. Moses, who did it the first time, he said it's going to be like Egypt. Now Most High God telling us about 2 witnesses. Let's try to understand who these 2 witnesses is that prophesied in sackcloth and ashes. This is Zechariah chapter 4. Book say that they the olive branch. Here's the 2 olive branches. Right? This is Zechariah chapter 4, verse 1. Let's read about this.
And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick all of gold. Eli! Eli! Come up here. And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and the 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which were upon the top thereof.
Right, 7 lamps and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps. Watch this.
And 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side.
And 2 what?
Olive trees by it.
So you had the lamps, and then you had 2 olive trees right by them. Right? Watch this.
Hey, Zechariah. Sit over here. Y'all get away from each other. And 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other on the left side of thereof. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, What are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, Knowest thou not what these be?
Angel looked at her, you don't know what that is? You know what I'm saying? You ever had an angel just talk to you, be like, you don't even know what that is? Like, no, I don't know what it is. Of course I don't know what it is. Don't be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? What is it? And I was like, watch this.
And I said, No, my Lord.
Right? You don't know what that is? You're like, no, man, I don't know.
Eli,
watch this.
sit down. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto it. Moreover, the word of the Lord
Listen, there's so much here, but we're going to focus on one piece.
The hands of Zerubbabel.
Right? He said, hold on, we're going to focus on one piece. He said, there are 2 olive branches, right, on the side of the lamps, and the bowls. I want y'all to remember the bowls, right? We're going to talk about, well, we've already kind of recapped the bowls before. We called them, I think we called them plagues or vials.
Yeah, it's Jeremiah.
But it's the same thing, bowls, right? these bowls in Revelation, there's 7 of them, they get poured out and they represent the plagues of the Most High God. Right? So now you got the 7 bowls,
The wine of the
7
wrath.
lamps, right? All of it sitting there, and on the side of this wrath, right, you have 2 olive branches on each side, on either side of it. And then when he asked, what is that? Was it ever answered to him? No. He said, just understand, not by might, but by my spirit, says Yahuwah. In other words, you ain't got to suit up for war. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to rally your whole army together. He said, by my spirit, this thing is going to be accomplished. Then he started talking about the headstone. We're going to have to get into that, right? We're going to have to get into that. Come on, baby girl. If your brothers did that, I would whoop their butts. So I can't let them call me a hypocrite. Give me a kiss. Right? So, hold we got there. No, we ain't even got to hold it. We ain't got to hold that. Grab Mark chapter 9. So we got 2 olive branches. Those 2 olive branches is described in Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11 says that the 2 olive branches is actually 2 prophets, right? So we know where the olive branches came from. We know that these stand on the side of the 7 lamps, right? With bowls. We know that when asked, what does that represent? We were told, not by might, but by my spirit, this thing gonna be accomplished. In the context, just so you understand, the context of what was being explained is the temple being rebuilt. Okay? That's what Zerubbabel was asking about. The temple being rebuilt. That was what was going on at the time, rather. Right? Watch this.
Where we at?
This is Mark chapter 9, verse 1. This is what the Christians call the Mount of Transfiguration. You know what I'm talking about?
And he said unto them, verily I say unto you that there be some of them that stand here which shall not taste death till they have seen the kingdom of God come with power.
Uh-huh.
And after 6 days Yahushua take with him Peter and James and John, and lead them up into a high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured before them.
Uh-huh.
And his raiment became shining, exceedingly white as snow, so as no fuller on earth can white them.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared unto them Elijah with Moses.
It appeared unto him who?
Elijah with Moses.
How many people is that?
It's 2.
And I don't know. Let's keep reading. Watch this.
And they were talking with Yahushua.
Uh-huh.
And Peter answered and said unto Yahushua, Master, it is good for us to be here.
Uh-huh.
Let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses and Elijah. Mm-hmm. For he did not know what to say.
Right? So you got Moses and Elijah talking to Yahushua. You know how I like to imagine it? You probably got Moses on this side, Elijah on that side. When we read yesterday, or last week, right? Yahushua was telling us who he was, wasn't he? No. What did he describe?
We say I'm the door, I'm the ladder.
He described the whole scene. What did he describe?
What? Say that again.
What did Yahushua describe when he was telling us what he was?
What was it? I and the Father are one.
All right, let me ask it a different way. What did John see?
You the Son of God.
What else did he see?
You saw him shining. This globe shine.
Mm-hmm.
Why you ring?
You saw the end, didn't you?
He saw the end. Yeah, he saw the end.
You said, what did John see? Mm-hmm. When he saw what?
He didn't see a lamp?
You talking about Zechariah? Oh, in Revelation.
In Revelation?
Yeah.
Didn't he see a lamp?
He saw candlesticks and a lamp.
Oh, right.
And then
He saw the same thing that Zerubbabel saw.
Mm-hmm.
When Zerubbabel talked, he saw the exact same thing. Zerubbabel just saw 2 olive branches on the side. And now look at this. We got Yahushua, 2 olive branches on the side. Right? Let's prove it out a little bit more. Because, I mean, you don't really know. The only thing we know is what happened in the book. That's all I want to talk about is what happened in the book. We know that for some reason, Moses and Elijah showed up with Yahushua. And Peter looked and said, should I make 3 tabernacles? Keep reading. Watch this.
For he did not know what to say, for they were sore afraid.
Uh-huh.
And there was a cloud that overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the cloud saying, "This is my beloved son, hear him." And suddenly when they had looked round about, they saw no man anymore except Yahushua only with themselves.
Everybody disappeared except for Yahushua. Watch this.
And as
Turn that off for me,
and
Eli.
as they came down from the mountain, he charged them. Eli, sit there. You get up one more time. Eli, on the couch. And suddenly when they had looked round about, they saw no man anymore except Yahushua only with themselves. And as they came down from the mountain, he charged them that they should tell no man what things they had seen till the Son of Man were risen from the dead. Mm-hmm. And they kept that saying with themselves, questioning one with another what the rising from the dead should mean.
Watch this.
And they asked him, saying, "Why say the scribes
Watch this.
that Elijah must first come?"
Why do the scribes say? What are scribes? Who remembers what scribes are?
Was that write the scripture, copy them in the scroll,
That would make them what?
like the teachers, the ones that remember.
They would make them experts when it comes to the law, when it comes to the prophets, right? So he's saying, why are the experts saying that, what happens?
Elijah must come first.
That Elijah has to come first. What does he mean when he's saying come first?
Before the end.
Before the end of the world, why do the experts say that Elijah has to come? Why is it? He asking Yahushua. Why would he ask that question right now?
Because Malachi said, "I will remember my servant Elijah."
Well, let's grab Malachi, but hold on to that. Why would he ask the question right now, though?
Because he just saw.
He just saw Elijah.
Yeah.
So he said, Elijah, everybody disappeared. That made him think. He was like, I got a question for you. You be knowing everything. Why they be talking about Elijah got to come first? Watch Yahushua's answer. Let me tell you, Daniel, these people don't know no book. You know what I'm talking about? Watch this. Watch what Yahushua answers.
And he answered and told them, "Elijah verily must come first,
He said, oh, Elijah must come first, but
and restore all things."
what does that mean, Daniel? What does that mean that all things must be restored? What needs to be restored?
The people to their natural place.
The people. When Zerubbabel was talking to the angel and he had that vision and he asked what it was, guess what he was trying to accomplish?
Zechariah.
What?
That was Zechariah.
He wasn't talking to Zechariah. He was talking to an angel.
Zechariah was in the book of Zechariah.
Nuh-uh. It's Zechariah. Let's go back.
So we going back to
It's Zechariah chapter 4.
yeah, right, yeah. This is back right to the right. Yeah, he talked to the angel.
Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, "This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts."
Right? So this is you're right. Zechariah is talking to the angel, has the vision. Zechariah gives the information to Zerubbabel.
Right.
What Zerubbabel is dealing with at that exact time
Restoration.
is building back the city. Starting with the temple. Mm-hmm. So if we go back to Revelations, we don't have to, but Revelation chapter 11, it starts off telling you measure what?
The temple.
But don't touch the outside because the Gentiles got to trample over that. Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, there's 2 witnesses. And it starts telling us about these 2 witnesses. We looking like, I don't know how all this stuff fit together. Somehow, all these key things, we got prophets, we got a temple that need to be rebuilt, right? and we got the end times, the restoration of all things. These key concepts always in the fit with each other. In all these situations that we're looking at, I don't know what could be happening. He's telling you, yes, Elijah has to come. Matter of fact, he got to restore all things. So does that just mean the temple? We know that we got to get called out of all the land. What does that mean for us if all things get restored?
Gotta get the temple.
We gotta be restored too. Grab Malachi, let's get it. Let's talk about how this restoration happens. Because I have no idea. All I know is we gotta read the book. Right? That's all I know. I don't know nothing but the book. That's it. I have no idea what we're talking about. Let's just figure out what the books say. Right? There's only one way to line it up, Eli. Book gotta line up. Easy money. Watch this. This is Malachi. Give me chapter 4, verse 4.
Remember ye the law of Moses.
He said, remember ye the law of who?
Of Moses.
Why in the world is Moses being mentioned? Let's see. I don't know what this could be talking about.
Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments.
That same thing in Egypt. We came out of Egypt. Moses led us out of Egypt. Most of our God said he's going to bring us out. And he describes the situation just like Egypt. We go into the wilderness. He's going to deal with us there. Moses dealt with us in the wilderness by the hand of the Most High God. Okay, so he said, remember Moses in Horeb. Horeb is in the wilderness. Okay, keep going.
Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming and great and dreadful day of the Lord.
So hold on. On the Christian Mountain of Transfiguration, wherever that mountain is, I ain't never been. I Google Map, I can't find that darn mountain. But on this mystical Mountain of Transfiguration, we saw Yahushua, Moses, and Elijah. They didn't say nothing about Moses, but they asked the question. They said, why the experts be saying Elijah got to come first? So then we go to try to read maybe what the experts was looking at when they said Elijah got to come first. First thing we come across is who? Moses. Then he jumped right to who?
Elijah.
Goodness gracious, I don't know how all this stuff is coming together. Maybe I just put it there. Let's figure it out.
And he shall return the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
It's going to be plagues happening. Earth's going to be, it's going to have a smite. The Most High God is going to smite the earth with curses, right? He said, but before I do that, right? So before I do that, I need you to connect the fathers to the sons, and the sons to the fathers. Let me show you where this happens. This is Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. Everything starts to make sense when you know the book. Everything starts to make sense when you know the book. And I'm giving it to us in order. Because I want us to understand who gonna put Revelations in chronological order. I'm telling y'all, it start with us getting out. We gonna get out by the two witnesses. And probably more prophets. It may not only be two witnesses. It might be more. Because me, this is just me. This ain't the book talking. Me, what I'm looking at is we're going to be all over the world. How they going to gather? But you know, it's technology now. You know what I'm saying? Moses might pop out on the iPhone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen. You know what I'm saying? No, make a left. You know what I'm saying? No. It's all right. Go on there. No, you're going to see a couple Gentiles. Not going to be 2 or 3 of them. Don't worry about it. The other ones, you stay away from the other one. But it's going to 2 or 3 Gentiles. Just hop on the plane. You got a private jet for you. Don't even worry about it. I kid you not, got a private jet. Then same Moses gonna be speaking Russian. You know what I'm saying? Talking to the black Russian. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna be talking to African, not the regular African, the bomber clock. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They be talking to, you know what I'm saying, the Mexicans. He be talking to the Mexicans in Brazil. Don't kill me. I'm just messing with y'all. He gonna be talking to, you know what I'm saying, he be talking to the Brazilians. He be looking there, you know what I'm saying, what Brazilians be? Portuguese. You know what I'm saying? He be, how many see I but when I'm on, you know what I'm saying? Moses gonna be like that. That's how I like to imagine it. You know what I'm saying? Still on the iPhone, Moses ain't lift a darn finger. He's still in Israel. You know what I'm saying? He just in there. You know what I'm saying? A couple people out of China, you know what I'm saying? I like to imagine there ain't too many of us in China though. But you know what I'm saying? A couple of them in China. You know what I'm saying? Then we just come from all these different places and we like, that's how I like that, man. I don't know. So maybe it's two witnesses, maybe it's more. Books say it's gonna be prophets, where you know what I'm saying, but we don't know exactly what time period that is and all that. Who knows? What we know for sure.
I like to imagine they're gonna be on like world news.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Prestige, world. Why? Why?
World news, like in other news.
We have to interrupt this broadcast for a special
like nobody gonna be able to change the channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you know what I'm saying. You just never know. You just never know. But let's see. Let's check this out. So this is Revelation chapter 7. Give me verse 1. Watch what the book say.
And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth.
Holding the 4 winds of the earth. Watch this.
That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
So now, I just want y'all to understand the parallels in what we're talking about. Because people will say that these are talking about different events, different stuff is happening. In Malachi, he said, connect the fathers back to the sons and the children, and the children back to the fathers, lest I smite the earth with a curse. Right? We read in Revelations, he said, hold the winds. Everything hold. Don't touch and don't harm nothing. Right? And watch what happens next.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there was sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Of all the what?
Tribes of the children of Israel.
What are tribes of the children of Israel? Just for people who don't know.
Let's see. We got Reuben, Asher, Simeon, Zebulun, Benjamin. Who am I missing? Manasseh, Naphtali, Judah, Levi, Ephraim, Gad, Dan. I think that's everybody.
I didn't count, but let's say that was everybody, right? Now that we got through everybody, what are the tribes? Where they come from? How does that work?
They got to be in the land at that point.
Originally, where did they come from? The
They
tribes.
came from Jacob.
Jacob. Right? Jacob had what, 12 sons?
12 sons.
And those 12 sons became what?
Tribes of Israel.
How so though?
Because when we split up into our tribes.
So what? I just want to understand. He had 12 sons, and did they go find a bunch of people and say, you're my tribe?
No.
So how did they become a tribe?
They stick to their families.
Yep.
So they had kids.
Their sons, yeah.
And their kids would consider them what?
The fathers.
And I don't know, if I end up having a great grandfather named Naphtali, would that be my father? So the book says I'm going to connect the children to the fathers and the fathers to the children with the people who have no idea what tribe they came from. You think maybe that could be what it's talking about? Because otherwise, how would this happen? Watch this.
Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000.
How do we know you was in the tribe of Judah? Unless some man of God came and said, you know what, I'm going to turn the hearts of the fathers back to the children and the children back to the fathers.
You are Simon Bar-Jonah.
I'm letting y'all know what tribe you from. And of everybody I let y'all know, there's 144,000 right here. But for these 144,000 to know what tribe they is, he had to let everybody know. So he let everybody know, right? This is what tribe you from, this is what tribe you from, this is what tribe you from. And then, of each of the tribes that I just broke down, I'm grabbing a few of y'all. How many of it in each tribe?
12,000.
12,000 out of each of these. You know what I'm saying? You give me 12,000, 12,000 out there, 12,000 out there, 12,000 out there. Right? And there's individuals in those that are sealed.
In the law, we were broken up by camps. Like it was formation. Every tribe had a formation. I imagine it'd be the same thing.
And could nothing be touched until this process happened. I can't tell you when this happens. I can't tell you if this happens while we're in Babylon or after we're out of Babylon. All I know is it seems like it happens while we're in Babylon, because nothing is touched until that happens. Right? But in the flow of this, things have already been happening. Right? This comes, I think, right before the three woes, if I'm not mistaken. Or right after the first woe, maybe. All right? So it's possible that things are already being touched, and then they stop anything from being touched any further, and then this happens. Right? But what you have to understand is that's what Elijah is there for. So now we got Elijah. Elijah's job, according to Malachi, is to turn the hearts of the fathers back to the children and the children's hearts back to the father. Right? Let's check out Revelation chapter 11 again. It's Revelation chapter 11, verse 4. Yahushua said, yeah, man, he must come. Elijah must come. You know what I'm talking about? And he got to restore everything. That boy knows sound like he's sweeping. The book says you got to restore everything. I love that part. I appreciate the Most High God. In Revelation chapter 11, verse 4, let's see what the book says.
These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeds out of their mouth and devours their enemies.
What they got the power to do?
And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy.
Whoa. These have power to do what?
Shut heaven that it rain not.
In the days of their prophecy.
The days of their prophecy.
Is that familiar?
Elijah.
Elijah did that, didn't he? Okay. What other?
And have the power over waters to turn them to blood and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will.
Oh, wait. Who did that?
Moses.
Very interesting. Keep going.
And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them.
So listen, we got somebody who stops the rain, just like Elijah stopped the rain in 1 Kings. He came right onto the scene. We didn't even know who Elijah was. He came right onto the scene like, oh, it ain't going to rain, y'all. At his mouth, rain stopped. Right? Then you got another one that can turn water into blood. And I only know of one man that the Most High God worked that miracle through, and that was Moses. And it just so happens that there's two witnesses. It just so happens that those two witnesses are related by revelations to the what we read in Zechariah. It just so happens that what we read in Zechariah had two witnesses, or two olive branches on the side of the lampstand. It just so happens that Revelation chapter 1 describes the lampstand in relation to Yahushua. It just so happens that Yahushua on the Mount of the Christian Transfiguration, wherever that's located on GPS, that he had two individuals that he was talking to, and it happened to be Moses and it happened to be Elijah. And it just so happened that the plagues in Revelation, and the miracles rather in Revelation that's connected, are exactly the items that they are known for. If you know how to put the book together, it already happened, and all you doing is waiting to see how it looks this time. but you know how it's going to play out already. This is give me Luke chapter 4, verse 25 real quick. And then after that, I want to go back to Revelation chapter 11.
Put that down. Put that down.
Luke chapter 4, verse 25. Then after that, we're going back to Revelation chapter 11.
Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all the prophets have spoken.
This is this is Luke chapter 4, verse 25.
I'm still in 24.
That's good too, though.
But I will tell you of a truth. Many widows were in Israel in the days of Elijah when the heaven was shut up 3 years and 6 months.
When the heavens were shut up for how long?
3 years and 6 months.
Y'all do that math?
What is that? 1,303 score in some days? What they say in Revelations? It was 3.5 years. Good days.
If y'all remember, that right? Whole book line up. Whole book line up. We may not understand it, but the whole book is there and it's lining up. Sakai, get your butt over here and sit down. This is Revelation chapter 11. Take me back to verse 3. Let's kind of read through the witnesses again. Most High God don't make moves without telling it to the prophets.
And surely the Lord does nothing unless he reveals it to his servants, the prophets.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Listen, I don't waste too much time on what's going on right now. I don't. Got my eyes open. I'm watching, all that. I don't waste too much time because I know the book and I trust God and what he said. Right? I know how this thing got to play out because I seen the man do it in the book too many times. And I trust what he said. There's going to be prophets. Prophets going to move. Somebody going to tell us something. And you going to have the option to believe that prophet or not. And they're going to be a legit prophet. Ain't going to be none of this foolishness that we see today. Right? And let me be clear, for anybody get too darn happy, I ain't no prophet. Never claim to be, never pretend to be, ain't a prophet, ain't an apostle, I ain't even a darn preacher. Right? I just teach the book. That's it. Right? Just go through the book and teach it. Right? But there will come a prophet who's going to lay it out flat and let you know how it's going to play out. And we're going to have an option. Do we believe this man or not? Do we believe this woman or not? All right? When it happens, that's when we'll know things are going to start moving. Because you're going to have prophets. Maybe one, maybe multiple. Different places telling people, Most High God said this. Most High God said that. People are going to start being brought back together. Then perhaps maybe the two witnesses pop out. And Elijah started letting us know, man, this is where you from, this is where you from. All right? And as that happens, that's when the plagues come. Because guess what? It's time for Moses to get us up out of here. All right? And then we gather together. But let's read it. Here's Revelation chapter 11, verse 3. Verse 3.
And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth.
That's 3.5 years.
These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Mm-hmm. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeds out of their mouth and devours their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Mm-hmm. These have power to shut heaven and that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall
Listen,
make
if
war
you don't
against
know the
them.
book, you don't know what this is talking about. If you don't know the history, if you never care, if you say the Old Testament done away, you would never know this is talking about Moses and Elijah. Watch this. Keep the book.
And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt, where our Lord was crucified.
So we know that where this is. We know where they at. Ain't no question about where they at, right? We know where Yahushua was crucified, right? So we know where they at. In the city that's spiritually called what?
Sodom in Egypt,
Why would it be called that?
because of our transgressions.
Because of our transgressions? Why would it be called Sodom in Egypt?
Well, I know
Who's there right now?
we are. Well, right now?
Who's in Israel right now?
Oh, Gentile.
What are they doing?
They are destroying the land.
They tried the land down. That's why this place is spiritually called Sodom. Because it got to go. That's why this place is spiritually called Egypt. Because these are the people of our captivity. But it is the place where Yahushua was crucified. No doubt about where it is. That doesn't make sense if you think the Israelites are already back. That's why Christians have a trouble understanding this. Because they're looking at this like, Sodom and Egypt, that got to be talking about America. But where the Lord was crucified, I just can't understand what God is trying to say here. Because it won't make sense. You can't call Israel Sodom and Egypt. No, the Lord brought his people back already. People don't make no darn sense. The truth just looking at them in the face and they whipping them on their back. Ought to be ashamed of their darn self. Open up the book. Keep going.
And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them.
You see how petty God is? How long their body gonna be laying there?
3.5 days.
3.5 days, then watch what happens.
They that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelled on the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood up on their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
They got resurrected. Right? Most High God was like, nah, they can't come in 3 days. Put another half on it. Somebody already did that. Right? You can't, listen, Lazarus, how long was he dead?
About 4 days, was it?
Book say 4 days. Most High God wasn't playing with him. Y'all noticed that when it was time to go see Lazarus, like, man, your man dead.
Yep.
What y'all should say? He was sad about it. What did he say though?
So we'll go.
Oh, yeah.
We'll tarry here for a while, I think he said.
Yeah, no, we got a couple stops to make. Yeah. He's like, I can't go there right now. Mess around, be 3 days when I raise the man up. Nah, we gonna make an extra stop. You know what I'm saying? Make it 4. You know what I'm talking about? You can't be raised up in 3 days. Only one man can do that. Even then, he was like, let him go ahead and let him sit there. Book say he suffered him sit out there 3.5 days. About 3 days, everybody ready to get him. But like I was like, nah, not yet. Let's sit a couple more. You know what I'm saying? What about 12 more hours? Okay, about 12 more hours. All right, get their butts up. Let's go. But after that, the life went into them. Now, this is a theory. Book don't clearly, it's based off a book, but book don't very clearly say this, but this is a theory, right? Yahushua is the first that was resurrected and life entered into him, and he's now a new man, right? First that died and was given new life from the Spirit, right? Then you have people given the gift of that same Spirit, however they had not died yet. Right? So they get like a little taste of the Spirit, but they hadn't died to become a new man yet. That's what we see with the apostles. These individuals are individuals that we cannot confirm have died. Right?
Elijah was taken up.
Right.
Elijah was taken up, and can't nobody find Moses' body. Right?
Yep.
So these are two individuals that we cannot confirm have actually died. And then here, they die. And after their death, life goes into them, and they're resurrected. In the same manner as Yahushua. Right? My theory is, after Yahushua, they are the first to see life by the Spirit. That's me, though. Based off a book, though. But it's still me. Let's take a look at it. Keep going.
And they that dwelt upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up here. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe comes quickly.
So after that, it started to go down. Earthquakes all over the place. Right? And they died, and they rose up. So, let's take a look at 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 9. I just want y'all to see why these two individuals are special.
2 Kings.
2 Kings chapter 2, verse 9. After that, we're going to get Deuteronomy chapter 34. Let's deal with Elijah first. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 9. Let's see what the book say. Ezra. Now let's see right here.
And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, Ask what I shall do for thee, before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of your spirit be upon me. And he said, You have asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if you see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be done unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces.
And that was Elijah. He just got taken right on up. Right? Don't say that he died. Don't say nothing killed him. All say, man went up. Let's look at Moses. Deuteronomy chapter 34. We'll end here. It's Deuteronomy chapter 34. Give me verse 5.
So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab over against Beth Peor. But no man knows of his sepulchre unto this day.
They say he died, but don't nobody know where his body is. Can't prove it. Right? These are two individuals that are very special. Not only special to the Most High God, but special in their interaction with the Most High God and how they die, right? Or at least how they cease being on earth. What we looked at are 2 witnesses. Also, what we looked at is the way that the Most High God will lay plagues, not just on America, but all nations. For what purpose? Only to bring us out. What we looked at is this is the times of the Gentiles, and the end of that time is marked by us being received back to the Most High God. When we're received, plagues go out. When plagues go out, we leave. And we make it into the wilderness. The wilderness is a very big piece. We started to talk about the wilderness, but there's so much more. As we talk about the wilderness, we'll talk more about the Gentiles and Gentiles taking the soul out. We'll talk about a lot of things. So we'll tackle that next week. This week was more so about